chills run down your spine. You break into a cold sweat. Your heart begins to pound. You are afraid. Tonight, on Scariest Places on Earth, Magnolia Lane Plantation.
You have a very unique thing right here on Magnolia Lane Plantation, and that's a conflict of souls.
We're in New Orleans, man.
Yes, we are. We are in New Orleans.
We had a murder, and we discovered a voodoo altar.
I'd like to find the truth, whatever that may be.
Are the Eatons ready to spend a night at Magnolia Lane Plantation?
Oh, my God.
One of the scariest places on Earth.
What makes a place scary? Is it leaving the comfort, security, and protection of home and venturing into the unknown? That's exactly what one family dared to do. They thought it would be fun to test themselves, to see if they have what it takes to confront the unknown and make it through the night at one of the scariest places on Earth. In this case, the location is Magnolia Lane, a 200-year-old plantation near New Orleans. The family, the Eatons of Gloucester, Massachusetts, have no idea where they're going and know nothing about the plantation house that waits for them.
Magnolia Lane is a house bursting with the dead. It's a horrendously evil place. Over 200 years, we've had families living and dying here. And any human being trying to get in here will feel that power forcing them out.
The Eaton family of Gloucester, Massachusetts, hopes to survive a night at Magnolia Lane Plantation.
You can't bring a family to a place like this and leave them on their own, because what floods through you chills you to the bone.
Gloucester, Massachusetts.
Before we go.
Okay, St. Christopher's Cross.
No problem.
I'll push you right through, I promise.
I've got a...
Well, I'll be right back.
Literally.
Good job.
I'm afraid of my own shadow. I do believe in spooks. I do believe in spooks. I
Right out the window.
I'm getting scared already. We're not even there yet. She'll be down there going, all right, come out wherever you are. Come out and fight me.
Yep, I'm hoping to find that paranormal activity does exist. My name is Stephanie Eaton. I'm 30 years old, and I'm a firefighter paramedic. You know, I'm hoping to get a life learning experience out of this, I guess.
Lady looks through the fence and like they're like eyes. They see each other's like the whites of each other's eyes. I'm like, whoa! Right everywhere. Oh, my bed. I'm like, oh.
My name's Kimberly Young. I'm 23 years old, and I'm a member of the Massachusetts Army National Guard, a military policeman. I'm also an adolescent counselor for kids with behavioral problems. My sister died when I was 14, and her spirit remains in the room that I sleep in. And every night before I go to bed, she gives me like a little sign that she's there. Yeah, I definitely believe in freaky things like that, so.
Okay, St. Christopher's Cross on?
Yeah.
Good.
No,
Good.
I've never actually seen a spirit. Christopher Eaton, 28 years old, and I'm a freelance sport bag designer. I'm very open-minded, overly creative at times too, and that sometimes can take a toll on my own mind, because if I see something, I'll build it up to a point of which it's probably worse than it really is.
The phone rings like it could be a suicide call, like someone saying, all right, you know, I've got a gun, I'm sitting at a table in front of me and I want to kill myself. Or it could be someone who doesn't know what to wear that day, you know, that calls up.
Wow.
I don't know if I believe or if I don't. My name is Cindy Lynn Grove. I'm 21 years old, and I am a crisis intervention counselor and a student. I think it's a challenge for myself, because I'm always trying to not be shy. I'm always trying to be more out there. I think this is a good way of doing it. If I did notice a spirit, I probably would try to figure out like why they were there.
Cindy does the counseling. If the counseling doesn't work, we get the results. I want to be a believer, but at this point, I'm skeptical. My name is Stephen Eaton. I'm 48 years old, and I'm a nationally registered paramedic. Well, there was one time, there's this one 10-year-old girl, and that's the girl that I got taken care of, and she was literally burnt from head to toe. And I had an IV, and I was going to give her some morphine to get rid of the pain, and she told me that I didn't need that her song was being played. And she said, well, when you're born, God gives you a song. And when you die, you hear the song and he plays it for you. And I can hear my song, and the angels are here right now, they're coming to get me, and she died right there.
Oh my God.
And that really moved me. I didn't know how to really think about that. I'd like to find the truth, whatever that may be.
Yeah, me either. Blood and
See,
guts.
I didn't get that part of either, the blood and guts thing. That's just
why I do the
not
phone.
my thing.
So who do you think's gonna be the most, like, adventurous? Who do you think's gonna be the, yeah?
Yeah.
Probably.
Because he's gonna be trying to find his way out. I'll hear Cindy screaming, but it's not gonna be Cindy, it's gonna be Dad. Voice is just gonna get so loud. Cindy, she's my stepsister. She's very caring and calm,
I
soothing.
would say Cindy's going to get spooked fairly easily, but will remain strong in the long run.
Kimberly will be the most scared.
Suck it up. Just go on. The military has completely instilled that in me. Suck it up. Continue
Cousin
mission.
Kimberly.
Drive on.
For a woman, she's pretty strong herself, too.
I'm gonna have to do it to prove that I'm not gonna be a fraidy cat my whole life.
I think my son, Chris, he's a real believer, so if he comes across something that he believes to be paranormal, I think he will progressively just get more and more afraid.
What was that?
The bravest? My dad's, you know, where he's a skeptic, would probably go in pretty strong-headed. I don't know, I'm pretty brave. I'd like to say it'd be me, but...
In New Orleans, no one is surprised to find playful spirits or ghosts in their homes. It's considered charming and acceptable. But what happens when those spirits are dark and sinister? What happens when those spirits take over a home like Magnolia Lane Plantation? And what happens when an unsuspecting family like the Eatons of Massachusetts decides to spend time there?
It's almost 5 o'clock in the morning here in Gloucester, Mass. There's Christopher. Hey, bro. Are you ready? Woo-hoo! Hi.
So are you scared yet?
Yeah, I'm getting there, yeah, definitely. Got all my stuff packed in my bag.
Oh my God, are both of those yours?
Yeah?
Stephanie, we're only going for 4 days.
Yeah. Pretty wet out there?
Very wet.
Yeah.
Just drove, it took me about 2.5 hours to get here.
Really? How's your bum?
It's soaked.
Why?
Because it snowed out and it got in my car and I sat in it. So. Yeah, so I'm gonna go blow dry my butt right now.
All right, well, you have a good time. Let's see that shot of that butt. Oh, it's a wet butt. Hold on, I gotta get this. Good morning to you. Enter at your own risk.
Hey, Sin.
Hey, Sin.
Hello.
This is the rest of the group going on the trip.
Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
The dog's not coming, but we should take her. We should take that hound. Should I say, want to come hunt ghosts?
Yeah, really.
You want to come hunt ghosts?
Sunflower seeds in case we get hungry.
Oh, good.
Might take her.
Aw.
Can't leave home without your shower shoes.
Oh, cool. Taking a picture of taking a picture.
Hey!
Hi, how are you, Chris?
I'm doing good. Cindy?
Hello.
Right now we're on our way to the airport to go where we have no idea where we're going.
The Eaton family is headed to New Orleans.
Well, they call me Robson, and I'm drawn to places like this. It's like the smell of death. You know that so much has happened here that you want to find out what the truth is. And the more you dig, the more you find. And the more you find, the more horrific it is.
Voodoo came from Africa. I call it the triangle. Africa, the West Indies, New Orleans. Many West Indians, especially Haitians, migrated to New Orleans, beginning in the early to the mid-1700s. They brought with them many of their customs, many of their beliefs, voodoo practices and so forth.
In 1860, Louisiana was the richest state in the Union, second to New York State. You had plantations lining both sides of the river from around Vicksburg all the way down to the mouth of the Mississippi River. I mean, they raised sugarcane, they raised cotton, they enjoyed an enormous wealth.
New Orleans was a center for people that traveled across the world. Some because they didn't want to be here. They were forced to be here. And they were the voodoo people, a lot of them. They knew a lot of stuff about things that the mainland continent of America had never come across before. The southern states are steeped in this magic and mysticism.
In 1989, we had a murder, and it was kind of a lover's spat. During the investigation, we discovered a voodoo altar. Not only the voodoo altar, we found the skull that was there. So that indicated to us that the lady was practicing black voodoo, and black in the sense of evil.
Hey!
There's just certain places where the veil's a little thinner than other places as far as between one world and the next world. And this is just one of those places, and so it's easy to communicate with the dead. The dead's piled thick in the swamps here. Practically every neighborhood has a cemetery next to it or is built on top of a cemetery. The stories go that when it rains here, the coffins come up and bang against the top of the graves. Graves used to pop out of their cases and go down the streets and rivulets like streams.
There are ghosts all over the place. There is no stigma attached to seeing a ghost in New Orleans. If you see a ghost in your apartment, there's no problem telling a friend about it. They won't think you're crazy, try to lock you up or give you intense medication or anything like that. They'll just listen to your story and then tell you their story.
Well, a lot of Creoles grew up with both religions. Certainly I did. In fact, my ancestry goes back to Marie Laveau, the Voodoo Queen. There's a belief in saints in the Catholic Church, for instance, and some of the same saints with different names show up in the Voodoo gods.
In Voodoo, the world isn't separated into antagonistic opposites where everything is either black or white, good or bad. In voodoo, opposites intersect and reveal and explain one another.
For Creoles, All Saints' Day, when you bring the flowers to the graveyard, was a big, big thing. In that sense, then, we honor the dead.
And in voodoo, the dead are not really that far away from us. The dead and the living work together. We still have contact with the dead, we still communicate with them, and they're still part of who we are. We keep them alive by offering them items that they liked, for instance.
You have to please them, you know, because you want them to protect you. You have to be nice and remember them and remember their names, and you talk to them and tell them about your problems or whatever you want. And in fact, we built altars to them in the home.
The altars in voodoo are considered what we call places of power, where we make that connection with the spirit. So each spirit has a different symbol. My altar is a big black cross with a top hat. At the base of that cross is a skull. Both sides of the skull are coffins, miniature coffins. There's a picture of Marie Laveau. There's a bust of an Indian called Black Hawk, which is indigenous to the New Orleans area.
Gede is the voodoo spirit of death and sex and regeneration. He's quite a colorful character. He has a skeletal face. He wears sunglasses with one lens, which is supposed to indicate that he sees in both worlds, life and death. When he comes in a ceremony, he can really be obnoxious and irritating.
The scarecrow is moving.
Gede is who you go to when you have a life or death situation. Each of the voodoo spirits has a graphic image that represents their essential force. These are called veve, and they're usually drawn in cornmeal on the ground during a ceremony.
If you're going to be a Christian, you have to believe in spirits, because we believe that we are composed of body and soul, and that our soul is eternal, everlasting. And therefore, you have to believe in spirits. You have no choice.
The spirits of those involved with voodoo, they want you. They want to take over your body. They want to live again. And the only way they can live again is through you. And stories come from this part of the world, New Orleans, the epicenter of it all, that people are doing things that they normally wouldn't do. Suddenly, they are acting in a way that is totally unlike them. And it's because they're not alone.
I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm really sorry.
Magnolia Lane near New Orleans is a centuries-old plantation that is steeped in voodoo traditions, has been touched by violent and bloody Civil War battles, and has spirits that have been walking the grounds for more than 200 years. Parts of Magnolia Lane were sealed shut nearly 50 years ago, but now the plantation will be unlocked for the Eaton family of Gloucester, Massachusetts, who will try to survive a night at one of the scariest places on Earth.
See this? This is our flight. Our flight is canceled. Our flight's been canceled.
Is this awful?
This is Cindy's first time on an airplane, and she's being delayed.
Yep, canceled. Because she goes, damn.
Disbelief.
What would MacGyver do? He'd hot wire a
my
plane
friend.
and take
Bring
it.
her.
B-E-D.
Dinero.
Bed.
Porque, peso. Wow.
Nighty-night.
He'll be like, come on, say it. I know. Here we go again.
Off to New Orleans.
Here's our next plane.
Yeah. Bye, Mom. To our.
No idea.
Bye, Mom. I love you. It's been a good 23 years.
I'm getting nervous.
It's getting scary.
Get scary. See if we can get an outside shot.
Yeah, go for it. Oh, I can see.
Hey, Chris.
What's up?
Okay. We're in New Orleans.
Vegas now.
Yes, we are.
Louisiana. We're in New Orleans, man.
Yes, we are.
We're in
We are in
Jambalaya.
New Orleans. That's
Get out of
eyeball.
my shot!
We are in Louisiana. Cindy, say hello to the camera. That's nice. Yeah.
Oh!
Wow. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers to the show.
Cheers. Tomorrow.
Cheers to tomorrow.
In this beautiful restaurant.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Bring on the ghosts.
Bring on the ghosts.
Yeah, Ghostbusters.
That's right.
Magnolia Lane Plantation. Sounds beautiful. Sounds Rhett Butler in a carriage driving up to the big white house where that beautiful woman, Scarlett O'Hara, stands there in the gorgeous green frock made by curtains from the back bedroom. It wasn't like that at all. It was a place steeped in death. If you start with the Native Americans, this was their home. And this particular part was considered a sacred land for the Choctaws, who used this part of the country to bury their dead. But they'd be in trees all over the place, right along the banks of the Mississippi. And then all of a sudden, the white settlers arrive and they say, I want this land. They kill the Native Americans and they take the land. So they fell the trees. They don't treat the Native American bodies with any respect at all. They leave the bones where they fall. And then you move on to a plantation bringing in slaves from all over the world. They're all over Louisiana and the southern states. They're working long hours and dying. And then you add to the mix the voodoo priestesses, queens, witches. So you have a very unique thing right here on Magnolia Lane Plantation. And that's a conflict of souls. It's where spirits are fighting against themselves. Choctaw Indians, the slaves, the voodoo priestesses and witches, and the American Civil War arrives. And then right here, on the banks of the Mississippi, an awful lot of fighting going on.
There have always been many ghost stories connected with sightings of soldiers, hearing soldiers, that sort of thing. The battle that was fought here in July of 1863 had approximately 250, 260 who died in this battle. There was a lot of destruction, a lot of loss of life from disease. Very tragic, very tragic.
During the Civil War, one man's madness led to unimaginable pain and suffering.
This plantation became the home of a major from the north who treated this whole plantation almost like a prisoner of war camp. Any captured Confederate soldiers were housed in the slave huts, shackled, and they have this major who'd enjoyed the war, he loved the war, and then the captured Confederates were talking to some of the people that they knew who were voodoo priestesses experienced in ritual, and they knew the power that it had, and they had started to curse the major, and they were working on him daily with dolls, with amulets, with talisman to try and drive him mad. And he knew there was something wrong. He knew that people were plotting against him. And he went to the Confederates and he dragged them out of their slave huts. He took them to the nearest tree and he littered the entire plantation with every single prisoner that he had. The hanging tree was littered with bodies. The house became an epicenter for all of the evil that he'd done. Well, it came back to him. And in this house, he hanged himself. Here at Magnolia Lane, This place is now a Pandora's box.
Hey, you never know what you're gonna see around here. So it gives you the chill, walking by yourself and all that around here.
Today, at Magnolia Lane, bottles are hung from trees to keep away evil.
All I know is there were two men hung at the bottle tree. This happened in the early 1900s. And after that, we had a man that was scalped at the front gate.
To my right here, we have what is known as a bottle tree. This tree is very significant because we find the same trees in West Africa. And in the bottle is either placed rainwater, river water with a pinch of salt. This keeps the negative spirits away. It has a magical significance of protection against evil.
Evil is everywhere at Magnolia Lane.
We have here on Magnolia Lane a Confederate cemetery. What's left of it?
Of course, this particular spot right here is where I did encounter spirits many a time at night and walking around after dark. And I know they're next to me. I have that feeling. At times, it gives you goosebumps. At times. And actually, I'm getting some goosebumps right now.
The Neighborsnig family has owned the Magnolia Lane Plantation since 1867. The old slave quarters.
My mother did believe in another world, I imagine, like that, of a spirit world. She always did tell me about that barn house. She said, it's dangerous back there, like you get killed back there.
The Major's bedroom.
They sealed one room. That's the dying room. The room that the Major used as his room. Nobody's been in there for 50 years.
I feel chill sensations in this room. Like a cold presence, which I didn't feel in the other rooms. It's sort of like a tingling sensation. It makes me feel a little jittery. The chills means the presence of spiritual forces, of the dead. I feel the dead.
The family wouldn't allow the small children growing up to go into that room. It was too filled with death.
Why do you come here, they ask. Why do you invade our privacy? Are you here to help? Why? Why do you come? Someone was very ill. I want to say had tuberculosis, sadness, problems with the legs, maybe even a form of some polio. Could not move very well. Trapped.
My mother had something of feelings about that room because a lot of family members died in that room, in that bed.
If the wood could talk, it could tell a lot of things. The wood holds vibrations. The wood furniture. That room's weird. I don't even want to go in there. Now, this stuff is old. It's not what I see, it's what it's I've got very, very dizzy sensations in this room. What is known of the emotions on the outside is not really what was going on. There's bitterness, and there's anger, and there's hate.
No one ever lived in that room. My mother locked that room religiously every night. She made sure that both doors were locked.
So like the man, I wouldn't sleep in it because it's too haunted for me. Well, I hope they're not nervous. And I hope they're very calm because I think they're going to hear some noise at me, you know?
Members of the Eaton family from Gloucester, Massachusetts are a long way from home and security. They have traveled deep into a Louisiana bayou and will soon be at the doorstep of Magnolia Lane, the centuries-old plantation laced with a history of voodoo ritual, tragic deaths, and evil. Will they be able to confront whatever dark forces are there and make it through the night?
Hello, I'm Robson. I don't want to know your names. This is the beginning of your journey. We begin at the water, where all life begins. However, the water here has far more to do with death than with life. You've been chosen because you are people that are intelligent, you're bright, you're smart. You'll not be fooled by trickery. We want people to be able to examine, to go searching, to look for. History goes back almost 2,000 years. But what we do know is that voodoo, mixed with the Native American spirit, has created an incredible power and an incredible force. Where you're going, spirit will interact with you. Be aware of things brushing past you. Be aware of smell, temperature, all of the things that I'm sure you've heard many times about spirit.
Well, you saw something that looked like eyes?
Yeah, definitely. Just had something.
On board the ship, we have bottles, a bottle for each of you. We'll make sure that those bottles are filled at a place far upstream. You will stop at probably the most haunted area of waterway anywhere in America. It's a bayou that was once dry, and it was a southern cemetery. The lake burst its banks, the water flooded, all of the coffins began lifting from the ground. The locals call it the Devil's Gumbo. You have to collect water there, water that you can use as a protection for yourself. There are certain rituals that pay tribute, honor, and respect to the dead.
Ready? Hold the bottom. Nice and slow. All right, stop. Okay. Hold the flashlight. I'll cap it. There we go. Teamwork.
It isn't a game, and it isn't a joke, and it isn't a show. What you will experience tonight is real. And believe me, real is much more frightening than storybook. You will be expected to show that respect, and I hope you're able to.
Magnolia Lane Plantation, 11:30 p.m.
Welcome to Magnolia Lane. So far, you've been in the light. Beyond here's the dark. This whole plantation that's locked in darkness, nobody comes here. When the War of the Union began, a Union major moved here, and this became a prisoner of war camp where they held Confederates. Now, the Union major chose to take this house as his. But the Confederates knew some of the dark arts, and what they did was to begin to curse the major and twist his mind. Now, his mind was already twisted enough because he'd been killing people for years, and he really liked it. He liked it too much. He began to go slowly mad, far more so than he ever was. But he knew well enough that someone was doing something to try and stop him, but he didn't know what. He began to see things in his house. Black shadows moving furiously, stirrings, noises. You have to be careful on the path. You're going to come across slave shacks where slaves lived and died. Had I a choice, I would say, don't to anybody, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. I sense that you help others. Don't know what it is, but I sense that you do good things, maybe. You do good things because you feel it's the right thing to do. There's things here that don't understand right. They just know that you're coming to their place, the place where they live, the place where they've always inhabited. They're going to touch you. You're going to feel them. You're going to respond and you're going to be frightened. So they will play with you, they'll play with your head, they'll play with your mind. Understand it?
Okay.
The things that you fear, they know you fear. You are not alone. You have someone in spirit who wants you not to do this. And she's much older than you are. I don't know if that makes sense to you. You'll get your wish. She can't warn you. She can't help you in any way. She doesn't want you to do this. And she always knew better than you. Remember it. Be careful. You share a gift. You believe. You know it's true. The fact that you have a gift that you can sense things will help you here. This is their home. It's all they know. They'll protect it. They prey on people who have a gift because they can identify with them. That will attract energy to you. Tonight you will get what you want. The guardian spirit is a lovely thing. It treasures you and you treasure it, but it can't help you in a dark place. They will come to you. They will seek to live through you. They will seek to be part of you. The black shadows will be around you more than any other tonight. Know it. Accept it. Here they can hurt you. Understand. This house has had major spirit. And I know rather than confront what you have in your head, you'd rather look through cameras. And I understand that that is part of your mission. But I ask you, what you see through there is not what you'll see through there. Understand it, understand it. More than others, you will see tonight. You will see, you'll feel. You will be afraid, you will be afraid. Now, I think it's time to walk the path. Walk slowly, because I know that you think you can only see spirit in houses, much as though you may wish them not to be. They will be around you all night. They'll be everywhere. Follow the path to their house. Are you ready to do this?
Midnight.
I don't know what that is, but is it gone?
I don't know. Oh my God, guys. Hold up. Steph.
Yep.
Hold up.
Where's the path?
Why? All right.
What's the matter?
Here's the deal.
No, we gotta go right over there.
Just go.
Just follow
Yeah, but
me.
here's
Follow
the
the
deal.
path.
We're
Follow
wicked.
it.
It's
We're gonna go right-
smoggy,
yep.
And we can't see very well. So let's...
What's this?
It's an altar. These are the altars. It's like a Native American altar of some sort.
That is native. It looks native.
I'm not quite sure what all this is, but it...
Guys?
Steph?
Yeah?
It's another one. It's the same thing.
What's the matter?
I don't know. It's weird looking.
You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going as slow as I can for you.
Okay. Careful, Dad. Watch your step right there. You hearing things out there?
Yeah.
Huh?
Sticks breaking.
Sticks breaking and stuff? What's this?
Where?
Right here. Yeah, looks like an off. Looks like a graveyard.
You still can see through that?
I think so.
Can anybody see through this part of this?
No. No, you
Or is it
can't.
too dark?
Keep your door open. No, it should be all right.
As long as you
Are we ready
With the door
to
open?
keep going here? Want to go?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Oh, careful. Watch your step. Yeah. Yep.
Look at that one
Oh, man. Look at what one. Don't go in
there.
there.
That one there, the metal issue.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Okay. See something up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. Yep, you're right. I am getting really hot.
How you doing, Kim?
All right. Doing. Okay, we're doing. That's great.
How you guys doing?
Oh, my God. I don't know, but
Oh my God, there's something moving over there. Christopher.
No, I can't see where I'm going.
There it
now.
is.
I'm cool right where I am, and I'm not going anywhere near that little house right there. Cindy, what is that right there, the clue? Yeah, I don't think we are either. Steph, I'm with you. Let's go back the other way. Yeah, I am too. Guys, come on, can we please go? I'm hearing things. I'm seeing things. Come on, please. Oh my God. Okay, just walk forward. I'm tripping over things. Yes, you did. This is the altar. This is where it's supposed to be. Yeah, I'm tripping over everything right now. Don't go in there.
There's a TV in there.
So, you must be wondering where you are. Well, you're standing in the remains of what was once an old slave shack, and later it was used to house a group of Confederate prisoners at the end of the Civil War. Now, behind you is an altar that's been evolving over the past 50 years. The altar will never be finished because anyone who ventures close to Magnolia Lane must make an offering of protection before leaving. This altar is your only hope for protection. In a place like this, the dead attach themselves to the living, and for you, that process has already begun. So now the journey begins, and what you'll encounter is far beyond anything you could imagine. First, you must create a ritual drawing in the earth that will help you to travel between the world of the living and the dead.
I'm go.
A new series looking into the history, psychology and methods of assassins tomorrow at 9 on UK Horizons. After the break tonight, we're off down the tattoo parlour.